sleep last night, dreaming about you. Saw you in my sleep, chased you till the morning came. My mama said, follow your dreams. Guess you were my one. Now I've let my
That was Hanging On from Starchild and the New Romantic, aka Brendan Cook, an up-and-coming force in indie R&B. Now, after touring and collaborating with artists such as Solange and Blood Orange, he's stepped into the limelight with his solo project, Starchild and the New Romantic.
Hi.
Thank you very much for being here today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you originally dabbled in journalism when you were younger. You studied acting. How did you end up settling on a music career?
Well, like in and amongst that, I was always singing. Like I was in choirs and musical theater and things of that nature. So I was always performing, you know. And one thing led to another, and you know, just kind of started singing without, you know, written plays behind me, you know.
So music was always a part of your life.
Absolutely.
Your debut album, Language, was released earlier this year, and it came after your EP, Crucial. You call your style champion music for the heartbroken. What does that mean exactly?
Well, you know, the history of soul music, I think, and particularly the Black experience and how that connects through pop music, and you know, there's a lot of struggle, and there's also joy and there's pain. And I think soul music always is constantly investigating that kind of dichotomy, you know, so I just want to be as honest as possible with my own truth and my own story, and hopefully, you know, hopefully someone like connects to it, you know.
I was just going to say, I really connect to it. I love the sounds,
Thank
the
you.
various sounds on your album. So you were born Brendan Cook. Your artist name, your stage name is Starchild and the New Romantic, and there's something quite whimsical about that. Where does the name come from?
Well, when I was really young, I fell in love with Parliament, George Clinton, and I used to just sit my ear to the radio and learn bass lines. So Starchild kind of comes from that P-Funk like mythology. And I always really loved New Romanticism and that kind of iconography of the 80s and that kind of honesty and sensitivity. So I thought I would marry them, you know, because that's kind of my relationship.
Okay, well, let's take a look at you in action
Cool.
in Ophelia's room.
when I was in Ophelia's closet backyard. Now and then, remember when I came back to see you tomorrow? I swear, what a shame. All of this.
So you were saying earlier that you love New Romanticism, and there is sort of a real 80s vibe, a nod to the 80s in that clip, for example. Your videos have a very stylish, almost retro vibe about them. Is that you trying to sort of reconnect with another era, sort of fusing past and present? How do you see it?
You know, I have a really strong connection to memory. I think memory is really, really important. And that's a great field to play on. So that's kind of what I'm trying to elicit with those things.
Okay. And now there are so many moving parts to your music. As I said before, I love the sounds on your album. You can hear so many different influences. I mean, I hear modern R&B, there's synth-driven soul, there's sort of futurist funk, obviously a wide range of influences. Who were your biggest inspirations? I mean, you mentioned sort of the P-Funk, sort of George Clinton earlier. Who were your biggest inspirations growing up?
Super inspired by Prince as an artist and as an entity.
You can hear that.
Yeah, certainly. Joni Mitchell, Django Reinhardt when I was younger, a lot of Brazilian music.
Oh, so like Bossa Nova.
Bossa Nova, Caetano Veloso,
Yes.
my favorite singer.
Amazing. Fantastic. Okay, well, you were the touring guitarist for Solange when she was promoting her critically acclaimed album A Seat at the Table. I was telling you off air that I happened to see you on stage last year at the We Love Green Festival here in Paris. It was a fantastic show.
Thanks.
You've also worked with Blood Orange, aka Dev Hynes, who is a longtime friend, collaborator, and you even have a joint project together,
Yeah.
Veil Him. So I want to ask you, was it easy or seamless to go from being a background figure to sort of taking center stage and having the spotlight on you with your solo project? How did you manage that?
You know, for me, I think it was relatively not simple, but not easy because, you know, performing with Solange, working with her and Dev, I always want to give 110%. And so whether it's solo, whether I'm supporting someone, I'm giving you my total individuality, you know, so it was easy for me to kind of like, you know, just keep doing it and have other people on the stage with me or not. You know?
And what was it like working with people like Solange or your mate, Dev Hynes? I mean,
super creative.
What did you learn from them?
I learned that you can really take your time with like a specific idea, something that you really, really care about, and you can nurture it, you know, like a seed, and it can really grow. And just staying true to your truth and your honesty, you know, your story.
I'm a massive fan of Solange. As I was telling you earlier, I was front row at that gig at We Love Green. What's something surprising that we would maybe not expect about Solange?
Well, maybe actually something that I really love about the both of them is that their interests, the things that fascinate them, are so wide-reaching. I mean, we could talk about architecture and, you know, discuss and break down politics, all kinds of things. So and she's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
She's hilarious, yeah.
Okay.
They're both really funny, actually.
Well, so we were talking about Dev Hynes, better known as Blood Orange. He'll actually be performing at the Pitchfork Festival in Paris this week as part of a lineup that includes Bon Iver and Etienne Daho. Well, the 3-day event showcases the crème de la crème of the indie music scene and also celebrates up-and-coming talent with Pitchfork Avant-Garde. That's a 2-day warm-up to the main event, featuring no less than 46 bands, including our guest, Starchild and The New Romantic. But we're going to take a listen now to Chewing Gum by Blood Orange featuring A$AP Rocky.
Oh, yeah.
Brother, baby, we've seen it all, and we're tired. So what you want from me? Tell me what you want from me. Tell me what you want from me. Tell me what you want from me. Tell me what you want from me.
So that was a clip of Blood Orange, who'll be appearing at this week's Pitchfork Festival here in Paris. You used to be an intern at Pitchfork. What was that like? What do you remember about that time? And is it sort of odd now being, like, you would have been reviewing music, but now your music is being reviewed by your former colleagues?
Yeah, it's
Well, what's that like?
It's really a whirlwind. In high school, I was a part of some very prestigious, serious newspapers, and I'm a writer. So whether I'm writing songs or, you know, writing plays, that's kind of what pushed me into journalism. But I don't know. I'm super critical of my own music. So, but in a positive way. So that's always kind of what I tried to do when I, you know, worked in journalism. So I just try and stay truthful to what the story is in my music too. So it weaves its way.
Okay, all right. Well, next, electronic punk pioneers The Prodigy are on the brink of restarting a fire with the release of their 7th studio album. The legendary group, famous for their fearless live shows, return with no tourists. The band's founder and keyboardist Liam Howlett says the record is organic and pure violent energy, a reaction to the current state of formula-based dance music and, quote, DJ bollocks and YouTube tutorials. Check out the clip for Need Someone. And finally, music icon and star of stage and screen Barbara Streisand gets political on her new album Walls. Inspired by the turbulent times we're living in, the 76-year-old takes on US President Donald Trump on the record's first single, Don't Lie to Me. Combining sparkling vocals and thought-provoking lyrics, it's a return to form with Babs not holding anything back. We'll leave you with a clip. Thanks again to our guest, Starchild and the New Romantic. Thank you so much for being here today. It was an absolute pleasure. Remember, his album Language is out now, and you can also catch him at the Pitchfork Avant-Garde Festival here in Paris this week. For more arts and culture news, head to our website and stay in touch on social media. Keep it right here on France 24. Lots more coming up after this.
Kings and queens, crooks and thieves, you don't see the forest for the trees. Head and